Join us for a driving review of the all-new Suzuki Across, that sibling of the Toyota RAV4 plug-in hybrid. Let's go! In the front we can see a huge opening here, modern front grille, and yes, that's taken over from the Toyota RAV4 plug-in hybrid. It's cooperation because Suzuki wanted to enter the European market, didn't want to build an own compact SUV, so they then took it over from Toyota, and then here of course with the Suzuki badge. The length is at 4.63 meters, 15'2" or 182 inches. And whereas the RAV4 plug-in hybrid would start with 18-inch wheels, here the Suzuki Across directly starts with 19-inch wheels, cool styling, and also then the contrasting wheel arches in a trapeze style here. That looks really fancy. And so what Suzuki did here is putting it high trim level only. It's also quite cost intensive, soon also going to talk about the prices, but they really want to make like a high trim model only. In the rear we can see modern tail lamps, also here with the light signature. Then again this contrasting style, this works especially well when you have this bright vehicle color, and then the black contrast in the lower part really strong again. And real exhaust tips for this naturally aspirated petrol engine. And again, electric motor also in the rear then to give you this electric all-wheel drive. And now you always want to see the turning indicators or then the hazard lights. Interesting, so it's not at the place of the daytime running light in the front, but then here inside, that also looks quite fancy, doesn't it? 7.5 inches that ground clearance is, by the way. And now the facts about the plug-in hybrid system. Battery 18 kilowatt hours, charging only 3.3 kilowatt AC. That's not enough. The Toyota actually offers 6.6 kilowatt. That's definitely better. So here a full charge at a charging station with the maximum charging speed takes 5 hours, and of course more than double the time when you just use a normal household plug. I mean, since you use plug-in hybrid vehicles also maybe then just standing, overnight at home or something, you can still somewhat live with that. And pure electric range, a little bit less than 70 kilometers or a little bit less than 50 miles. So what we have here is a 2.5 liter naturally aspirated petrol engine. Total system output 306 horsepower because there's also one electric motor in the front and one in the rear. 6 seconds is the acceleration figure to 1 kilometers an hour or 60 miles an hour. So that's actually quite fast. Inside of the doors, a soft and nice leather red cover with red contrast stitching. Way to go. Then inside, yeah, that also looks like in the Toyota RAV4, just with the Suzuki badge here, also red contrast stitches on the inside and high trim everything. Soft touch dashboard, and then here these leather red covers, again red contrast stitches. And also the seats, very interesting with this red contrasting look. And we have here some, some fabric style like inside here with the red, and the rest then here, especially here, is a rather slick leather red, so animal free seating, but you don't feel or see a difference. Good quality, high grade leather reds, so nice sustainable choice. So overall, good first impression. And getting inside, of course, a shoe tab, and we have a nice upright seating position, SUV style. You feel pretty much at home. Everything is simple and straightforward. And indeed, the seats are also for like slick surfaces, actually quite soft and comfortable. So positively surprised about that. Steering wheel in and out, up and down. Interior overview, 7-inch screen on the left, 9-inch screen on the right. And once again, soft touch material here with the red contrast stitches, pretty nicely done. Then here's some inserts here. You can have some cubby holes and glove box. Soft touch here once again. Compact steering wheel, right thigh to control cruise control. Adaptive cruise control, blind spot monitor, and also the autonomous emergency brake, all standard equipment with this vehicle. Thumbs up. Left side to control something of the digital instruments and also for the volume control. And nice to have the very big and thick climate control here in the middle part, manually, easy to control. And these are the instruments, left and right side analog, right side then here for the battery status and the fuel status. And the middle part, this is then a digital screen, and for you, for example, can get like the average figures here. That of course doesn't make sense anymore. That's just easing the car here around in the parking lot. And system details here. This screen we'll take a look at when we drive the vehicle, how the distribution is between electric motor, battery, engine. So one in front, one in the rear, and then it goes back and forth, what is active, depending on recuperation or if you use the full power mode. Also good to have a manual volume knob still right here. And Suzuki does not offer GPS here with this system, so when you put the map button, you directly go to the map screen of your Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, which is actually good because the Toyota GPS they offer is bollocks. So I think it's good not to offer it actually in this case. So it will keep quite lean for the main menu. Rear seating, when I have the seat to my driving position, and pretty cool that here also in the rear on the inside we have the soft leather red cover. So again, nice build quality and really a lot of legroom here in the rear left. It's not the longest vehicle, but you have good legroom. Soft and comfortable seating position here. You can also adjust the angle here a little bit, so you can, it's not that easy, you have to go back around, but here like this you can make it more upright if you would prefer this seating position, and also headroom in the rear. So the usage of space is really good. Now to the trunk area, 580 up to 1,690 liters. The electric tailgate is quite slow actually. Then we have this wobbly non-railed cover. I think you can live with it. Substantial space, really good. Let's check out the dimensions. Length here, 1 meter in length, normal meter. And then here in the top part, that's 1.20 meters almost. But then here to the more narrower part, that's then again 1 meter in width. Hey, nice acceleration here in the pure EV mode, and that welcomes you to Thomas's driving lounge with the Suzuki Across. Just drivetrain wise and everything, basically rebadged Toyota RAV4 plug-in hybrid. And that's actually a good thing, because in driving they can rely on the Toyota hybrid, in this case plug-in hybrid technology. And I'm starting in the EV mode because I have fully charged this plug-in hybrid vehicle for you. And so the total range now promised is 600 kilometers on the combustion engine and a little bit less than 70 kilometers on the electric drive. So the pure electric range then a little bit less than 70 kilometers, a little bit less than 50 miles. But I think that's actually quite good for a plug-in hybrid. We had a couple of plug-in hybrids which had way less range actually, so quite satisfied with that. And as for the top speeds, so there's a pure electric top speed at 135 kilometers an hour, and a total top speed of 180 kilometers an hour means a total top speed in miles per hour is 110 miles per hour, and the electric speed is 80 miles an hour maximum. And I think you can also live with that, definitely. And we have here this energy monitor in the middle part. Of course, when you're using it for everyday driving life, you won't look at that all day. But here now in our review, we can take a look at that a little bit more. Because this drivetrain here, we have a combustion engine in the front, and there's one electric motor in the front and one in the rear. And once again, this pure electric acceleration is totally fine, not even flooring the throttle all the way through. That's really, really cool. So satisfied with that. So much fun to drive this one here all electric. It's more silent, more relaxed in the city. The engine is not hopping on and off all the time. So that's also then an advantage in comparison to the inbuilt hybrid drivetrain we know by the Toyotas. So when you can recharge, when you have a station at home like a wall box or just normal power plug will also be sufficient for this one here. That's then actually a quite good choice. So as I said earlier, I took 5 hours to charge this one fully because of the poor 3.3 kilowatt charging speed at the charging station. Same would be at the wall box at home. Even longer, of course, just with a normal household plug. That would be then, at least double the time, if not longer. I mean, when the car stands overnight in the basement garage or like in a normal garage or in front of your house or something, then it's actually absolutely fine. Just if you're, living in a flat and don't have the charging infrastructure, then of course it gets to be a problem. And also fast charging is not really possible then. So that's about it. Steering is very likable, so it has a good feeling, is quite light, but doesn't have a dead zone area. Suspension is, I would say, it's not bad at all. Now let's run through these potholes intentionally, and there you see some of the weaknesses of the suspension. So again, it's not super bad or something, but it's not that I would mention it as something that is substantially good with this vehicle. So something, average in the middle. It is not too soft actually, suspension wise, so the car does not lean at all. I would rather say it has some kind of a sportiness even. So upright seating position here with these leatherette seats, we mentioned that earlier, they are also quite comfortable. So have a good overview. The side mirrors are quite large, so you can very well see what's happening behind you. And when I lift the throttle, the pin here, the needle goes to the charging, so it means some recuperation. And when I hit the brakes, there's even more recuperation. In the standard mode, it's not set out to be, that you have strong recuperation just when you lift the throttle. A little bit, yes, but not super strong. So it's not laid out to be like a one pedal driving feeling or something. Here in this monitor, we can see when I'm lifting my foot off the throttle, then it switches here back and gains the energy back to the battery, and as soon as I go on the throttle, the battery delivers to both electric motors. It is still predominantly front wheel driven, and the electric motor in the front also has more power. The electric motor in the rear then gives you that all-wheel drive, but again, still a front wheel bias with this vehicle. You also have different driving modes. You can go to this auto EV mode, or you can switch it to the EV mode intentionally. So when you are in this auto EV mode, the car decides for itself when it's in the electric mode and when not. However, when you go to the EV mode, it's, let's say, more stressed. You change the algorithm a little bit, but it won't make such a huge difference, because when the battery is properly charged most of the time, the car will actually drive then in the all-electric mode. However, you can also go to this other button and go to this charge hold mode, and then actually the combustion engine goes on and is preserving the battery status for a possible later emission zone or something. Now back to the sports mode, and we want to show you one more time acceleration when we go to a higher speed as well. And now we start from 30 kilometers an hour. The road is all clean just for us. Let's go. And that's 180 kilometers an hour. Holy moly, that thing rocks, man. What the hell is going on? Mid-size SUV, a Suzuki Across, and that thing is going nuts on the motorway. Wow. So awesome acceleration. What is going on? And you heard, now it's getting quite noisy, and this, really high motorway speed. Let's go to like a more reasonable speed, 130 kilometers an hour, so like 80-90 miles an hour. So that's actually quite okay. Now EV mode is going on once again because I'm in cruise mode. That's bearable. Again, we have had more silent cars, but this one, and then here, when I exceed 135 kilometers an hour, then the combustion engine hops on, because we've reached the maximum EV speed. And now once again on the brakes, recuperation is set on full charge, so not all of the energy we put in is totally lost. I can also push back to normal driving. I can push back to normal driving mode. Now it worked. So, and then we're all calm again, 80 kilometers an hour. really cool. So I'm really satisfied with this driving experience here, and finally a plug-in hybrid vehicle that has some substantial pure electric driving range, and at the same time you have decent power. You can go longer journeys than on the combustion engine when you use the fuel. That is also possible. You have a good roundabout visibility. Now here in the tunnel you can see how the instruments are being illuminated, also the middle screen. Climate unit so well accessible. Yes, thank you for leaving it manual. Such a pleasure to have a manual climate unit nowadays. I have to say that. And that we do not have an inbuilt GPS. I think it's actually a good thing. The Toyota does offer that, but I mean, the Toyota GPS is, I really have to say, completely useless. So just use your Apple CarPlay or Android Auto GPS and then you're fine, and have that one in the mirroring. I mean, this screen should rather just be there for the smartphone mirroring, and that's also it. And I'm really more and more enjoying the pure electric driving in here. And now to our conclusion for today with the Suzuki Across, and basically also a conclusion about the Toyota RAV4 plug-in hybrid. Exterior-wise, a strong design, sporty actually, and also the suspension is set on a quite sporty tone. It could actually be a little bit softer for an SUV, I think. But I think a likable exterior design. Interior styling is somewhat basic but good material use, so a lot of soft touch materials. Also animal friendly, high quality seating, so also a check there. And we definitely have enough space there and no compromise because of a battery or something. That's also well done. Then as for the driving experience, I mean, the combustion engine doesn't have the best sound, yes, but that's also not the main task. Substantial pure electric range with a little bit less than 70 kilometers or a little bit less than 50 miles. More than most other plug-in hybrids we have recently driven. So that's good, and really enjoyable electric driving experience. At the same time, you have a lot of power boost when you use both drivetrains at the same time, and you also have a long range possibility. So this could be a good compromise if you commute electrically during the week and go on longer journeys at the weekend or something. Overall, a hot tip in the mid-size or compact SUV segment, depending on the perspective which country you are from, if it's compact or mid-size. And everything we told you today also counts for the Toyota RAV4 plug-in hybrid. This is really pure badge engineering. They just swapped the badge on the exterior and the interior. There's no real difference. Yeah, just that this one here has the slower onboard AC charger. That's that's definitely a downside. Other than that, it's just more about at which dealer you get a better price deal. Then you would go for the Toyota or for the Suzuki version. But overall, I think if you go for a plug-in hybrid compact SUV, it's a very good choice overall. Nothing which would arouse a lot of emotions, but definitely very solid in all of the executions. You can also score some good economy figures. Even when the battery is empty, you can still use some of that recuperation, but of course it makes more sense to go for the plug-in hybrid version if you also have something of a charging infrastructure. So, I hope you enjoyed this episode today. Tell us your opinion. You're looking forward to more Suzuki news. Leave us also some comments, and would you go for the Toyota or for the Suzuki version? Tell me in the comments. Meet you there. See you next time.